Hi, it's Brigit here. I am one of the Pilates instructors at Silverfit, and today we are going to do a session on balance and stability. So we're going to start off standing up. So we will get in alignment. So we're going to line up our hip bones with the centre of our knees and the centre of our feet, and I'll just stand at this angle as well. And we want to get a nice firm footing. So put your hands on your hips. Roll to the outer edges of your feet and then the inner edges. And as you're doing this, notice what's happening here. Can you trigger the core muscles a little bit? Can you start to trigger the glutes a little bit? And then come into that position in between the two extremes of foot roll and release the arms. And we're going to bring the arms up and back and down. And we want the arms to be energized and not floppy for the next movement. So as we exhale, we're just going to rock forwards, try not to lift your heels. And then as you inhale, rock backwards, try not to lift your toes. Okay, so we're trying to keep a pipeline through the body. We're trying not to do this. And just notice what your range of movement is that you can really control, and then just start to push it a little bit. So you might find that you're kind of a little bit flaily with the arms, but that's fine. You just want to kind of notice where your edge is. You don't want to go over the edge. And then we home in on it, home in on the action. Nice and rooted through your feet. Hold it still. And then just give yourself a little shake. Good. Okay, so feet are still hip width apart. And you're going to soften your knees. And we're going to inhale to prepare. And as you exhale, tuck your chin and just start to roll down. Vertebra by vertebra by vertebra. And look at your feet. You don't want to be clawing in with your toes. If you need to bend your knees more, that's absolutely fine. And we have a little sway from side to side. And then hold it still. Press your feet on the floor, activate your abdominals, wrap your bum under, and then roll up. Vertebra by vertebra, and you can walk your hands up your thighs. And when you get to the top, just interlace your hands behind you and stretch out your chest. So from this angle, it looks like this. If you can't interlace the hands, don't worry. Zap into your fingertips and then release, and just let the arms go floppy and shake it out. So we'll have the feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. Place your hands on your hips, and we're just going to swivel the hips. We're lubricating the joints here around the hips and also the knees and also the ankles a little bit. Change direction. Okay, and hold it still, and then heel toe the feet so the insides of the legs are touching, and we're going to glide the hands down towards the knees, and we're going to circle the knees nice and smoothly and change direction. Try not to loll up the head like this. So imagine if you had a name badge on your chest and on your forehead, that is shining forwards. Keep the abdominals working. Okay, we hold it still, tuck your tail and roll up. Vertebra by vertebra, shake it out. And now we're coming into the V stance, the Pilates V stance. So our heels are touching and we're pressing the feet down, and you should feel hopefully this engagement, this tone around the thighs. And this is called the Pilates thigh wrap, but you're feeling the muscles just coming into tone. Slightly squeeze your bum cheeks together and place your hands on your shoulders and get the elbows as close together as they can without sort of hunching. And we're just going to open out the chest. And you want to inhale as you're opening out the chest and exhale as the elbows come back together. And if you want, you can kind of add in this little ripple through the body as the arms kind of add rhythm. And then we're changing direction. 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Hold it here, give it a little shake. So we're going to have the feet wider than hip width apart again, and you're going to reach up And if you feel okay here, come up onto the balls of your feet, and then we're going to sweep down, and then we're going to reach up. We're just hovering on the balls of your feet if you can. If not, flats of feet is fine. Sweep down, reach up. We'll do it one more time, and then we're holding. So on the balls of your feet if you can, or just on the flats of your feet, you're reaching up. Feel this lift here, and hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly come down onto your heels. Nice and slow, nice and slow, nice and slow, and swirl and whirl the arms back and shake it out. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate the next exercise from the side, and we're going to create a tabletop position through the back, and we're reaching forwards as we do it. So we're like that, okay, and you're reaching forwards with the fingertips as you're drawing back with the tail, and then as you come up to standing, you're pressing your hands behind you with the option to come up onto the balls of the feet, and then we float down. Now, if you can't come into this position, that's fine. You can keep it more like this, okay, and we come up. So we're going to inhale, and as we exhale, try and get onto the balls of your feet if you can. It's a nice idea to have something solid like a wall or a kitchen surface. So if you need to kind of reach out to balance, then you've got something stable. Okay, now we're holding it here. Zip up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then slowly release and swirl and whirl the arms again. Okay, so a little bit of dynamic balance now. So we're going to bring our arms into the cactus shape, and we're going to bring the opposite knee towards the opposite elbow, like so. And then we're going to change. And we're trying to get a nice trunk rotation. So you're not doing, it's not sort of the arms flailing. We're trying to rotate the trunk. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. And shake it out. So the next one we're going to do is some side lunges. And I'm going to give you a couple of options here, and I'll explain a few do's and don'ts. So we'll start off with Cossack arms. I'm just going to roll my sleeves up so you can see my arms here. Okay, so we've got Cossack arms, and you want to take a nice, confident side lunge. This leg is straight, this leg is bent, and then come back onto your tippy toe. Now, if that feels a little bit too much, just go a little bit to the side. This leg is still straight, this leg is still bent. Avoid that, okay? We don't want the knees taking it, and then come back. Okay, now you can, if you want to stand next to a wall, so you can side lunge and then come back, and you might need to hold on to the wall, okay? So that's absolutely fine. If this is too much for your knees, don't do it, okay? So if this is, keep going if you're all right, but if it's too much for your knees, practice standing on one leg, lifting and lower, lifting and lower, and you can hold on to something for stability, lift and lower, okay, and shake it out. And we'll come up to the other side of your mat, Cossack arms. You're either going for your lunge and onto your tiptoe, or you're just lifting one leg and lowering, lifting and lowering, with the option to hold on to something, okay? And you'll find that as you kind of, your balance improves, you can start to take your hand away and you can start to do bigger moves, okay? And just do a couple more like that. I can't see you, but I'm pretending I'm looking at you here, okay? And then finish that one off. Give yourself a shake. Okay, so it's important when you're doing these kind of more powerful movements that we want to keep our knees and our various joints protected. So we want to activate the big muscle groups around the core and the glutes. Okay, so we're going to tuck our chin. We're going to soften the knees again. We're going to do another roll down. So as you're rolling down, I'll do it from this angle. Draw up through the belly. Feel that lift here. Relax the neck. And you're in your forwards fold position. Have a sway from side to side. And then roll up. Tuck your tail under. Rolling up vertebra by vertebra by vertebra. Okay, and then the shoulders Open out the shoulders, interlace the hands behind you, squeeze the shoulder blades together. You're getting a nice pec stretch, and then release. Swoosh the arms around. So we're going to do some nice circle action just to break things up a bit. So reach up with the arms, and then we're going to take a side bend, and then we're big circles, big swooshy circles for 1, 2. Now you can come up onto the balls of your feet as you're reaching up. And 1. Or you can stay on the flats of your feet and go the other way. For 3, 2, and 1. And here we are, reaching up, a little sun salute, and then swirl and whirl the arms back. Okay, so another balance challenge. Again, you can use a chair. I'm just going to grab a chair actually, just to show you what it looks like. One-legged squats. Okay, so you're holding onto a chair, and it's quite nice to have something because you can really focus on the alignment. So whichever leg is closest to the chair, that's going to be your standing leg, okay? And then the other leg, it's here, okay? It's out in front a little bit. And then you're just going to come down, and then you're going to exhale as you press up. So you're really using your glute muscles here. Inhale as you sit down, exhale as you press up. Now, keep going, and I'll show you some options you've got here. So you can put instead of kind of lifting the leg completely, you can put your foot on a block or a thick book, because you might find that kind of just lifting the leg in mid-space is putting too much pressure on your joints on the standing side. How low you go depends on your strength. If you're driving up through the heel, we'll just do 1 more. Aim to do between about 3 and 8 on each side, depending on, where your strength is at. And build up to it, because you don't want to kind of go off like doing 10 repeats here on the one-legged squats and then suddenly find the next day that you're really feeling it. Okay, like everything else, we want to build up into it. So other side. So you can start off really gently. So you can go for just a part squat and then coming up, or if you're more advanced, you can take your hands away, you can lift your foot and come up. The other thing is, if you're normally all right, but you're finding you've got a bit of an injury or a bit of an ache and a pain, again, modify it. Your body is always in the present. It will tell you what it's feeling. It will tell you what it's feeling, and it will tell you straight away most of the time. Not always, but if you're getting that signal, we want to act accordingly. And there we go. So you're really driving up through the heel, you're feeling the leg muscles, the glute muscles, and then shake it out. Good. So that's our standing balance work done. I'll just pop this chair out of the way. And I'll adjust the camera angle. So we're going to come down onto the mat. So we'll just meet on hands and knees. If you want, you can do a roll down onto the mat. And we're meeting on our hands and knees. So the first thing we'll do here, we'll do a cat-cow stretch. So as you exhale, pressing the ground away, pushing it away. And as you inhale, keep your pelvis in neutral, but get your head up a little bit. Feel that ripple through your spine. And exhale. This is our cat. Click, 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 click. And inhale, this is the cow. Now, if your back's okay and you want to have your tail up, fine. Try not to sort of clunk through your waist. And then we're coming into a child's pose. Now, just be mindful of your wrists here. If you've got any wrist conditions, you can maybe try a fist hand, or you can just about do this one on forearms. It feels a bit awkward, but that might be your alternative here. So ideally, we're on our hands and knees, but there are modifications. And you're going to lengthen. We're going to keep in contact with the floor to start off with. Our right hand and our left leg. So we're in contact with the floor, and you go as far as you can before that sort of urge to lift, and then we just hold it, and then we come back, and then we do the other side. We've got the left hand and the right leg. Try not to collapse into your shoulders. And then inhale, come back. Now, we're going to channel that energy, but we're going to go for a lift. So So inhale to prepare, and as you exhale, travelling down the mat, travel like you're going down the runway, forwards, backwards, and sweep up, and then come back down. And then the other combination, inhale to prepare, exhale, in contact with the mat, travel, sweep up, and come down. And you should really feel those glutes and those shoulders working. We'll do 2 more on each side. Inhale to prepare, exhale. Inhale as you come back, exhale as you lengthen. Inhale as you come back, try not to dangle your head. Exhale, inhale, exhale, and inhale. Lovely. So let's sit back on our heels for a child's pose. Now, if you don't want to, or if you can't feel that you can put your bum on your heels, I haven't got one to hand, but you could maybe prop up with a few cushions. So just sometimes raising your seat a little bit takes the pressure off the knees and the joints. And you'll know if that's you because you'll feel it. It will you'll probably feel it straight away, especially if it's pulling on your knees. Okay, so we're back onto our hands and knees here. And we're just going to do a couple of thread the needles. So you're going to open out and you're going to thread the needle like so. Now, if this is too much for your wrists, do this if it's good for you, but if it's too much for your wrists, I'm just going to show you an alternative. We're going to do this and this. Okay, so this is your alternative. If you're doing the hands and knees version, we're going to change now. So other side, inhaling as you open out, exhaling as you thread the needle. And just keep checking in with your wrists because you don't want to overload your wrists. And they can be a little bit problematic sometimes. Really press down with the knuckles of your fingers. Okay, and then just finish that one off. So if you can, just cross your ankles and then roll over and shoot your feet forwards. And if not, just we'll meet in this position. Okay, and then we're going to take a little shimmy to the front of the mat. We're going to straighten the legs here. And we're going to have palm layered on palm. So it's not an interlace, this one, we're just layering palm on palm. And we're going to press the head, the back of the head onto the hands. And on a scale of 1 to 10, you're looking at about 3 or 4 out of 10. And then we're going to hinge back. Okay, not to the point where your back is aching. Length is the important thing here, but hinge back a little bit if you can. And then release. And then release and just roll out the shoulders. So that in itself can feel quite strong, and we don't want to be all crumpled. So we'll swap the layering of the palm on other palm. Get that length, feel that spine. We want the spine is our long axis and we want it to be nice and tall. And then you're going to take that little pivot back. And now we're going to tuck the tail under and we're going to roll down. Now, if this is feeling too much, you can hold onto your thighs and walk your hands down. Okay, and we keep pressing into the heels here because otherwise the legs will go flying and our back's not protected. So roll over onto your side, ease yourself up, and then we're going to do that again. Now, if you don't want to do that again, if that feels too strong, the way to get onto your back is to roll onto your side and then do this. So just how we came up, but in reverse. Okay, so that's a nice transition onto the floor if you've got a bit of a dicky back. Okay, otherwise we do this again. So we're layering the palm on palm, swap it again, swap the layering. Really focus now on pressing into your heels and lengthening your spine. We take that little pivot back, core is super strong, and then we're going to tuck the tail. Keep pressing your head into your hands, about 3 to 4 out of 10. Press into the heels, press, 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 press. And here we are, nice and safe and sound on the mat. Tuck your knees in, thread your kneecaps, and we're just going to circle a couple of times in one direction, a couple of times in the other direction, and then release the feet to the floor. And the arms are up like so. And with our arms up like so, just be careful that you're not kind of hoiking the shoulders at their sockets. We want to let the shoulder heads just rest nice and deep in the sockets. So our shoulders are nice and broad on the floor. Now, Spine is lightly imprinted or maybe in neutral, okay? So whatever feels best for you. And we want to keep the trunk really stable. And we're going to reach right with our right arm and left with our left leg. So we're going contralateral here. Left leg opens out, right arm opens out. As you exhale, brace your abdominals and bring it back. And then we do the other combination, left arm, right leg. You're rolling onto the outer blade of your right foot. Exhale as you come back. Feel this working, okay? And then we're going to do the other side again. Right arm, left leg. Left arm, right leg. Rolling onto the outer edge of that foot. Now you can keep going with that, but if you fancy something a little bit stronger, we're going to press into the feet and press ourselves up into a glute bridge. And then we're going to do the same exercise but up in the glute bridge. So you're going right arm, left leg. Notice how much harder it is coming back. Really good for our stability. But if it's too much for your back, you know, don't worry about it. You just build your strength up and stay on the floor. We'll do one more each side. Right arm, left leg. Slow and controlled is the name of the game here. So if you're kind of whizzing through it, you're not going to get the strength and stabilising benefits, because that will just be momentum that is doing that job. Okay, and then we've finished, and then we roll down vertebra by vertebra by vertebra. And we're all going to meet, tucking our knees in, and just give yourself a little hug. And the legs are now in this position, or if you prefer, they can be in this position. Okay, but I'm going to do it from this. This is a little bit harder, okay? And your arms can be like so. So this is sort of, they're giving you, they're acting like brakes, okay? So you get more stability. Or if you want, you can have the cactus arms, and this is, you get a good opener for your pecs, but it's more challenging. Squeeze your legs together, and then we hover the knees over to the right. Hobber, hobber, hobber. Now your pelvis is lifting off a little bit, but we're not out of control here. We've got active torsion. We've got an active movement. And then exhale as you come back. And then inhale as the knees go over to the other side. And again, it's like you're sort of that wringing out the dishcloth feeling. It's an active twist. Exhale. Now, sometimes people will say, well, how far do I go with the hover? It just depends on your strength and what your body is capable of. So if you're really mobile and you've got loads of strength, you can go far. And if not, then not. So it's totally by feel. You don't want to do your back in, but you don't want to kind of have a hernia pop out either. So you want to feel that point of tension, but not ridiculous amount of tension. Both shoulders stay on the floor. Okay, and you can do the floor version, which is really nice, and it helps you to kind of get the form right. So if your feet are on the floor, it's going to look like this. It's not this, it's not the kind of floppy stretch. We're doing an exercise here. Okay, and then just finish that one off. And then we'll take a full body stretch. And then when you're ready, roll over onto your fronts. Just make your way back onto the mat. Okay, just checking that you can see me now. Okay, so we're going to make a fist with each hand, and we're going to have our one hand head and one hand down by our sides. And you're pressing the tops of the feet into the floor, and you're drawing those abdominals in. And then keep your forehead on the floor, and we swap. And just get that opposition. And then we swap. And then we swap. Okay, and now we're going to hover the upper body off the floor, and then we keep going with that same arm position. We swap. We swap. Draw those abdominals in. We swap. And we swap. And then release, and just make a pillow with your hands. Rest your forehead in your hand pillow, and just shake your hips from side to side. Okay, and then when you're ready, we're going to come into a plank position, and you can do a full plank or you can do a knee plank. or you can do a tabletop. Okay, so you just notice kind of what you can support here. And when you're doing a plank, try not to dangle your head because it will sort of build in a hunchback, and we want to keep that spine nice and long. Okay, so we're in the plank, we're either in a 3/4 plank, try not to collapse, or you're in a full plank and you want a line of steel from the crown of your head to your heels. And if you're good here, you might be super strong, maybe you can do a press up. And then we're in our downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, you can just pedal through the feet, get a nice stretch for the back of the legs. And again, don't overdo it, you want to feel the stretch, sort of, it's a mild tension. And then we're going to float onto our hands and knees, and then we're going to come onto our sides. So we're going to do some side kicks from here, and we're going to do leg swings, okay, and with the front, with the top leg swinging. Now your bottom leg can be bent, and this will give you a little bit more support. Increases your base of support here. So you could start off like this. If you're feeling a bit more advanced, you can straighten the bottom leg but scoop it forwards. So we've got our abdominals are working. We've got that kind of Pilates scoop. It's like a banana shape. And then have your head on your upper arm. Your neck needs to be straight here. We don't want to be sort of lolloping the neck. So keep your neck nice and long. And then we're going to lift the top leg, and we've got a straight line from our crown of our head to our heel. And then we're just going to swing the leg forwards and back, forwards and back. And your top hand is here to give you some support. Now, if you're really balanced, you could maybe try something like this. And we want stability rather than complete rigidity. Okay, don't forget your bottom leg can be bent, and that will give you a bit more, well, it gives you quite a lot more support. 3, 2, use these muscles. We want to get those muscles working. And 1. Okay, now on the last one, if you can, see if you can catch your ankle. We take a quad stretch here. Maybe you put in a little bind. Maybe you punch your hips forwards a bit to get into your hip flexors. Be careful of your knee, of course, so just, monitor what's happening. And then we release, and then we're going over to the other side. So to come into if you're working with a straight still leg, it's best to start off in a straight line and scoop that leg forwards. So we've got that right position. Otherwise, you don't want to be in a sort of diagonal line across the mat, because that's just a straight line, and that will probably end up in your lower back. Okay, so we want to get those core muscles working. You're going to lift the top leg, and we just start. So you can start with a kind of really controlled, see how stable you're feeling. Maybe you're reaching up towards the ceiling. So all these things here just to test our balance and our proprioception, our coordination. And then if you're feeling good, just start to swing the leg a little bit more, but just notice, you can hear my voice is changing, it's more effort. But notice how the rest of your body is responding. 3, 2, and 1. And then we try and catch our ankle. If you can't catch it, you can try this standing up. You could do a standing up quad stretch. Okay, or you could use a band or a dog's lead or something like that, and just sort of, or a tea towel, anything like that. Okay, and then if you want to, you can add in the little bind here. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but some people really like it. And then release out of that. And then we're going to roll onto our backs again. We're going to do another couple of bridges. This time sort of more of a stretch. So we've got our arms down by our sides, and then we're going to press through the feet. We're going to press ourselves up. Get your bum muscles working. Really create that vacuum in the belly. So we've got all these internal muscles working, and we're going to float the arms up and over the head. If you can, come up onto the balls of your feet, but don't worry if not. And then we're going to roll down vertebra by vertebra by vertebra, and then sweep the arms and just catch the sides of your thighs, and the head, neck and shoulders are off the floor. So you look here and you've got like a dish, a sort of a
a dish shape or a scoop, but we don't want a dome or a bulge. Okay, and now we're going to dig our heels in. Dig your heels in, walk your hands a little bit further up, really get those muscles working. I can hardly talk now, and then let that go. Oof. Okay, and then just very gently move your head from side to side. We're going to do that one more time. So press yourself up. Watch out that your rib cage isn't popping. So you want to get the rear muscles working. So the glutes are on, the core is on, your ribs aren't sort of flaring out. We're nice and tight in our abdominals. And then you're going to float your arms behind you. Option to come onto the balls of the feet. And then we're rolling down. And then we're going to sweep the arms, head, neck and shoulders off the floor, catch the sides of your thighs, maybe dig your heels in, maybe lift a little bit higher, squeeze a little bit more, maybe not. You can have your head in your hand if your neck's going. Release. Lovely. And float your arms over your head. Unless if you've got back issues, have your arms here. It's more supportive. And then you're just going to windscreen wiper your knees from side to side. Now, if you've got any back problems, have a nice wide foot stance. Okay, so you can really widen those feet so they're as wide as the mat. And we go for 3, 2, and 1. And then come back to centre. Heel toe your feet back so that they're hip width. We're going to cross, this is the number 4 stretch here that we're all so familiar with. So we're crossing the right leg over the left, and then we're going to place the right hand in the hole between the thighs and just interlace your hands behind your left thigh. Okay, now we're trying to get a long spine here. So if your bum is kind of lifting off the floor or you're scrunching into your neck like this, then just lift off the head and maybe put your head on a cushion. Okay, so we're after a long spine here, and then you can have a rock from side to side. You can push your elbow into your inner thigh, and that's going to deepen the stretch as well. So there's all these things. We don't want to have like perfect form through the exercise class and then lose it on the stretches. And then release, shake out that leg, we'll swap it over. And then we're going to place the left hand in the gap between the thighs. Just catch the hands behind your right thigh. Check everything's all right there. Okay, can you lengthen that spine? Are you more scrunched up on this side? You know, we are different. I'm a bit more scrunched up. I'm going to grab my block and then have a little rock from side to side. It's amazing, just if you raise your head or you kind of use the prop, it can just make all the difference in how it feels. And this, if you're rocking from side to side, you get a kind of built-in massage. Okay, and then we hold it still, put your foot on the floor, shake out the left leg. We're going to take another full body stretch. And then bring your right leg towards you. You can bend the left. We're going to stretch out the hamstring. Give it a little rub. And we'll circle the ankle a couple of times. And then change direction. Again, keeping the back of that neck nice and long. Okay, and maybe not, but maybe you can eke out a little bit more stretch. And you want to feel the stretch in the belly of the muscle. We don't want to get it here. We don't want to get the stretch on the attachment points. Okay, and then we'll swap it. Now, if you're tighter on your left leg, I am, so my knee needs to be more bent. If I try and straighten that leg, it's like I can't reach it. So, and also the stretch is kind of going into the wrong place. So that's it, softening that knee. And then you're just going to circle the ankle and change direction. Okay, and then maybe you can eke a bit more stretch out of it, but gently does it. Okay, nice and gently does it. Mild tension is what we're after here. Okay, and then shake out that leg, tuck your knees in. We're going to roll over onto our sides, ease yourself up into a nice comfortable sitting position. So it might mean for you cross legs, or you might have another position that you prefer, something like this. Careful of your knees.
And then from here, we're just going to cradle the knees and we're just going to pull ourselves forwards. And then we're going to press ourselves back. So we're going for that sitting cat-cow stretch, lengthening your front spine. And then we have a C curve in the back of the spine. And we'll hold it here, nice and tall for your spine. Left fingertips on the floor, reaching up through the right arm, going for that side bend. And then over to the other side. That feels nice. We'll do one more each way. Try and keep your sit bones on the floor or on your cushion or block. Okay, now if your legs are crossed, we're going to swap the cross of the legs. We're going to go for a little spinal twist to finish things off. So you want a nice long spine, and we're going to rotate. Actually, let's have our arms like this, and you're just rotating through the trunk. Don't let your head go over the shoulder just yet. So keep your chin in line with your centre. Okay, and then you can maybe leave yourself into a deeper stretch, and now look over the shoulder. Gently does it. And then de-rotate. We'll bring the arms, cross them the other way if you can remember which way you had them crossed before. Nice long spine, rotation, 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 rotation. Keep everything below the waist completely still, and then you can increase that stretch. Maybe you're looking over the shoulder. And then come back to centre. And then spread your wings, put your palms together, and give yourselves a clap. Well done. So balance and stability, very important.